There's a moment quiet, all moused invisible, when a woman begins to fall for you. It doesn't start with fireworks. It doesn't start with a confession. It starts with something so subtle, most men never even notice it. It starts with a shift in the way she speaks to you. Not the words themselves, but the emotions behind them. You see, when a woman is developing real feelings, she doesn't shout it from the rooftops. She won't always text you with heart emojis or write a long paragraph pouring out her emotions. That's not how it works. Especially not with a woman who guards her heart. The truth is, most high-value women aren't going to beg for your attention. They won't chase. They won't tadman eye to trite. What they will do is drape hints. Very specific, very fully cosin hints. Woven into normal conversations, these phrases might seem casual, ordinary. You've probably heard them bar and brush them off, but thought's the mistake most men make. They assume she's just being friendly. They assume it doesn't mean anything. Because of that, they miss their moment. They miss the opportunity to connect her emotionally, intellectually, and energetically. All because they weren't trained to listen to what a woman actually means when she speaks. What if I told you that some of the most powerful signs of attraction come not through her body language, not through her eye contact, not through her touch, but through a few soft, subtle sentences slip out when she feels safe, curious, and vulnerable around you? It's not just about what she says. It's when she says it, how she says it, why she says it, when no one asked her to. Because when a woman begins to develop feelings, not surface-level lust, not cello attention-seeking, flotation, but heartsy-centered emotional interest, her subconscious starts to the waters. She starts to reveal bits and pieces off her inner world. Not everyone, not tooth guy who's trying too hard, not tooth man who's seeking validation, but tooth man who simply holds space. To the man who listens with calm intensity, tooth man who doesn't trust, the man who doesn't need her approval but still makes her feel seen. That's who she opens up to. It's who she opens up to. Not with grand gestures, but with certain phrases. Shadow sensado, just anyone. If you're not emotionally grounded, you'll miss it. If you're distracted trying to impress her, trying to get her to like ho, you'll miss it. But if you can stay present, stoic, aware, observant, you'll catch these rare cues when they appear. And here's the truth that stings for a lot of men. Women do speak up when these start to feel something real, but they do it in code. And if you don't understand the language, she'll assume we're not interested. She'll emotionally retreat it, and you'll never even know you'll wear this close to having everything you wanted. So in this video, I'm going to give you the translation key. We'll break down 5 specific things a woman will say when she's catching real feelings for you. And I'll show you exactly why they matter, how to respond, and what they're eel about the way she sees you. Because when you learn how to code these subtle phrases, you stop chasing women. Whoa, don't care. You stop doubting yourself. You stop wondering if she's playing games. You start recognizing with total confidence when a woman is quietly falling for you, even if she hasn't admitted it to herself. Yet this, in theory, this is emotional truth. This is female psychology. And by the end of this video, you'll hear women completely differently. Let's begin. Welcome to Stoic Stream. It's the one place where we don't sugarcoat attraction and don't run from emotional truths. Here we break away from the shallow noise. We don't chase validation. We can guess. We observe. We understand. I lead. Because a man who understands a woman's psychology doesn't need to ask if she's interested. He already knows. Not Baka, she told him directly, but Becca. Trained himself to see physis that others miss. Doesn't look for dramatic confessions or performative facti. He listens to her patterns. Henotices, the shifts, the pauses, thou unspoken meanings hiding behind what seems casual. You see, when a woman is developing feelings, and I'm not talking about surface-level attention or lust, I'm talking of batterial emotional investment, something changes in her communication. She begins to speak to you differently, not with louder words, but with deep tones. Not with more affection, but with more vulnerability. And the moment you'll learn to recognize his cues, everything changes. Suddenly you stop wasting energy chasing women who were never emotionally able. You stop getting blindsided. One, a girl you thought was just a friend starts pulling away because you missed her emotional cues weeks ago. You stop operating in the dark and start standing in clarity. Now, let me be clear. Women are emotional creatures, but that doesn't mean they're rational. In fact, their language is prose if you know how to listen, because every emotionally charged sentence they say, every little offhand mark, every casual compliment, every late-night message that starts with it probably shouldn't say this, but is app psychological breadcrumb. And most men, they step right over it. Why? Because no one ever taught them that feminine attraction isn't always loud. It's soft. It's subtle. It's strategic, see? Women didn't always confess when they're falling. That's a risk. They protect your heart. They don't want Tobe Theon who cared more. So instead, they drop hints. They test. They express their feelings in ways that give them just enough cover to retreat if you don't feel the same. But if you do feel same, and you recognize her signal, you've opened Theodore to something deeper than just physical attraction. That's what this video is about. This is some recycled list of pickup tips. It's note manipulation. This isn't game. This is coding of the emotional language. Women actually use it. Their hearts are starting to shift toward you. I'm going to walk you through 5 very specific things a woman will say when she's developing real feelings for you. And each one comes with a psychological caliance. Why it matters, what it reveals, and what you need to do the moment you hear it. These phrases may seem small to the untrained men, but to the grounded high V-value men, they are signals of emotional lax. And if you respond with calm, confident energy, if you don't freak out, chase, or overthink, she feels some effing even more rare safety. Because Harass paradox. The more deeply a woman feels for you, the more vulnerable she becomes, and the more fear she hides behind casual phrases. That's why your job isn't to push. So understand to hold space for her emotional hone, Stephen, when it's quiet. And if you can, doth it, you don't just beck the man she likes. You become none. She trusts the man shepens her soul to. The man she thinks about at 2 a.m. The man she complains every other man to. And none of them is syrup. So get ready, because what yonder about to hear will permanently change how yonder stand women. Let's break down thy first phrase, she say when she's sketching real feelings for you. And why it's far more powerful than love you. 1. I've never told any this before. You're sitting there, maybe bites over coffee. Maybe it's a text that came in at 1:37 a.m., or maybe it's those long walks where the night makes people say things they usually keep buried. Anon quietly, cautiously, she says it, I've never told any this before. Now, most men don't think twice about that sentence. They smile. They smile. They're flattered she's opening up, but they don't realize what's really happening here. And it's huge because women are not emotionally careless, especially not with their vulnerability. For most women, emotional intimacy occurred. And it's not something they just give away to anyone they're talking to. When she says this phrase, it's telling you 2 things. 1. There's something personal and important. And 2, that you are not just another guy. You've passed a quiet test. See? This phrase only comes out when a woman trusts you, and not just, I think you're in his trust. I'm talking about the kinded off-trust dude. Says you feel safe enough for me, Tobe, unfiltered. I'm not performing. I'm not trying. To impress, I'm revealing. Most women live their lives wearing garment, smiling when they don't want to, laughing when they're exhausted, keeping their real thoughts locked away because too many men use them, twist them, or ruin from them. But when a woman begins to catch feelings, her emotional walls start to shift. Not fall down, shift. She doesn't drop of everything at once. That's too risky. Instead, she offers you a glimpse of so piece of her emotional truth and watches how you're spend and the phrase, I've never told any this before. A doorway into her emotional world. Now here's what separates high-value men from the rest. What you do in Thatman. Most men interrupt. They downplay it or they makite about themselves. Oh yeah, I went through something similar once. No that kills moment. A grounded man does the opposite. He listens fully, quietly with his entire presence. No judgment, no rush. No need to fix her. Just space. Strong, masculine, unwavering space for her to be real. That's what women crave. Because when a woman shares something deeply personal, a childhood wound and insecurity, a moment she regrets, a family secret, and you don't flinch, you didn't pity her. You don't try to explain it away. Something powerful happens. She emotionally bonds to you. That bond is not physical. It's not verbal, it's chemical, neurological. Her brain starts to associate you with safety. And once that association is formed, you're not just a crush anymore. You're something more. So the next time a woman says, "I've never told anyone this before," pause. Look her in the eye. Let her feel your stillness. Because what she's releasing is, "I'm starting to trust you and I want to know. Can you handle ethereal me?" 2. I feel like I can bend myself around you. At first glance, it sounds like a generic compliment. You've probably heard it in movies, maybe even from friends. You just feel easy to talk to. I can totally be myself with you. But when a woman you're dating or just getting to know says this to you with sincerity, pay attention, because this Sony goes deeper than most men realize. When a woman says, "I feel like I can bend myself around you," what she's actually saying is, "You don't make me feel like I need to perform. You don't make me feel like I have to pretend. I feel safe dropping the mask and still wanted." And thought's rare for a woman. Very rare. You'll have to understand something powerful about female psychology. Most women are constantly adjusting their energy based on who they're around. They're taught tomo when they're in comfortall. They're taught to be agreeable, polite, cute, feminine, sexy, depending on who's watching. They carry in invisible pressure every day to fit into the version of themselves that's most acceptable. So when you come along, Andy, our presence doesn't demand anything. When you're not fishing for compliments, not seeking validation, not pushing her toe, be morphin, more chill, more hot. Ethos are often the best way possible. Bees, you're unaffected. You're not trying to win, sure. You're just being. That energy is grounding, and in that energy she feels rarest thing of all. Freedom. Freedom to laugh awkwardly, to talk about something word, to ask a dumb question, to cry without explaining why, to admit she's tired, to let her guard down, not because you forced her. 2, but because you didn't. And here's what most men mean. When a woman says she can be herself around you, she's giving you a green light, emotionally, subconsciously, spiritually. She's saying there's something different about you. I don't feel the need to perform. I feel safe just existing. That's not about looks. It's not about money. That's not about status. That's about energy. Your grounded masculine person gives her permission to relax into her natural feminine energy. Noked, no filter, no fear. Why women fall hard for stoic men. Not theckled kind, but the rooted kind. The Monwo doesn't try to impress Ando as in Chase. The man who listens without trying to fix. The man who doesn't need attention because hell ready has intention. That's the man she can be herself around. That's the man she trusts. The man she starts to picture in her future, even if she hasn't admitted it to herself yet. So next time she says, "I just feel like I can be myself when I'm with you," don't just smile and say thanks. Recognize it for what it is. Sign of emotional unlocking, a gateway to deeper connection. A rare moment where she's showing you her soul and asking, "Can it stay here?" And if your energy is strong enough, she will. 3, what are we or where is this going? This is the one that tends to scare most men, and that's exactly why it matters. When a woman looks you in the eye and says, "What?" or "Where is this going?" Ruth, most men immediately assume it's pressure. They panic. They feel trapped. They think she's trying to control me. She wants to define things too fast. She's being needy. And with that, men set, they shut down. They avoid the question. They dodge it with jokes. They say things like, "Let's just see where right goes," Or we're just having fun, right? But here's the truth. Most men didn't see when a woman asks this question. She's not trying to tot-trap you. She's trying to see you. She's trying to understand. If the emotional connection she feels is something you're feeling too, or if she's being romanticizing, zamming, that's only one-sided. That terrifies her more than it ever will. You understand this? A woman's emotions don't just receive scoos. She likes your face or your jobber, your style. Her feelings grow from consistency. From presence from the Wyove, been showing up in her life, intentionally or not. If you've made her law, if you've been there when she'll panned up, if you've seen her unfiltered and still made her feel wanted, she'll feel something whether you meant to it. So when she finally asks, where is this going, she's not asking for clarity. She's suffering emotional vulnerability and watching how you hold it. This is theme it, where you show what kind of man you really are. A love man avoids the question, he deflects it. He does want responsibility for her emotions, so he withdraws, but a grounded man, a stoic, emotional person, man doesn't react. He responds, he takes a breath, he tells the truth. Maybe the truth is, I'm still figuring jet out, booty value what we have, and want to keep building. Or maybe the truth is I care about you, but I don't want anything serious right now. Either way, the point is this. You face them with calm certainty. No fear, no jest, just honest leadership. Because when a woman asks this question, she already knows how she feels. She just wants to know if you're emotional and mature enough to handle it. If you can meet her vulnerabilities, shutting down, she'll feel safe around you than ever has. Not Bekoso gave her the answer she wanted, but Bekazu gave her the truth she needed. And in thought, truth, real attraction, deepens. 4. I miss you when she doesn't need to say it. Now let's be clear. Anyan can say I miss you. And Mani do. Sometimes it's flirty. Sometimes it's sarcastic. Sometimes it's complete leanings. Ariflex in a conversation, a placeholder for something else. But when a woman genuinely says, I'm a Sue, not out of obligation, not to fill a silence, not as a response, but on her own. Unprovoked, unprompted. That's something else entirely. That's feeling speaking. That's the sound of emotional absence. That's her heart reaching out for your presence. Not your texts, not your attention, but you. Because when a woman starts to miss you, it's not always because you're gono physically. It's because something abutu lingers in her mind. A conversation, a look, the way you listen without judgment. The way you didn't try to fix her, the way you made her feel like she could breathe. When that feeling disappears, even just for a day, her body starts to crave it again. Not sexually, emotionally. Bother is the part most men don't realize. A woman doesn't say, I miss you, as unless she's desperate or playing a game. High value we women didn't chase, they hint. So when she says this to you seemingly out off no hair, it's not just affection, it's exposure. She's revealing that her thoughts are redrifting toward you. Thatch is noticing your absence. That part of her, even the part she usually guards, wants you there. How your span determines everything. You immediately jump in with I miss you too. Smiling face with hard ice bleeding face. 100 points fire. You kill the energy. You overdo it. You sound like you were just waiting for hair aprovalto. Feel wanted. But if you acknowledge it calmly with presence, not performance, you allow the connection to grow. Something like that's good to hear. I've been thinking about you. Tidot just didn't want to crowd your space. Show strength, emotional maturity, control, and control without nettedness is power.
Oh.
Because women don't just miss men who make them laugh. They miss men make them feel safe inside their emotions. And when she says, I miss unsolicited, it's your cue. She's not just thinking about the past. She's hoping for a future. 5. You're different. If you ever hear a woman say this, don't just smile and say thank you. Don't shrug it off like it's casual. Kuz's phrase, perhaps more than any other, is a confession. I've never met a guy like you before. You're not like most men I talk to. There's something about you. I can't quite explain it. You're just different. Now, let's break this down. What she's really saying here isn't about your haircut, your style, or your job. She's not talking about your hobbies. She's not talking about your Spotify playlist. She's talking about your energy, your presence, the way you'll make her feel. She's telling you that you disrupted her emotional pattern, because most men operate from the same emotional prompt. They chase, they overex, they try Toprov, their worth. They joke too much, they react too fast. And worst of all, they need her too. Feel something for them just so they can feel like Ammon. But when you come along and you didn't chase, when you don't brag, when you don't flinch in the face of silence, when you can sit across from her with grounded presence and look her in thigh without folding, you stand out. You'll become a calm inner storm. You come with one guy who doesn't try to perform. You become the man who cares himself. If he knows who he is, with her, that shakes her core. That's what your different means. It means you've made her feel something she hasn't felt in a long time, maybe ever. A sense of respect, intrigue, curiosity, calm, desire. She's trying to categorize you and failing. She's trying to predict their behavior and can't. You're not pushing her. You're not begging her. You're not rushing anything. And that confuses her in the most beautiful way. Back, most men who want her chase, and most men who don't. Withdraw, Butu, you're still. You're not chasing, but you're present. You're not attached, booty connected. Not reacting, booty are aware. That's what she means when she says you're different. And when she says it, don't gloat. Don't try to even more different. Just keep buying. Stay in that energy. Because that phrases the edge of emotional surrender. It's the threshold. Shadow. Doesn't Avon realize yet that what she's saying is, you're the kind of man I didn't know and needed until now. And if you stay in your truth, she'll lean in even further. So now you know when a woman starts developing real feelings, she doesn't always come out and say it directly. She reveals it in moments, in tone, in patterns, in 5 quiet sentences that most men miss, but the emotionally aware man never does. She might say, I've never told anyone this, Burr. That's trust. I feel like I can't mind myself around you. That's safety. What are we? That's investment. I'm a Sue. That's emotional attachment. And finally, you're different. That's impact. But the real question now is, what will you do with this awareness? Guess knowing these signs means nothing, unless you learn how to respond. Most men sabotage the connection after these moments. They get nervous. They say too much. Or worse, they overthink and do nothing. But a high-value man, a stoic man, he responds with calm power, with presence, with stillness. And if you want to take this deeper, if y'all want to know exactly what to, say wenchapon's up to you. The phrase is fat meld their emotional defenses and build a resistible connection without chasing. They made a full video on it. Tap the one right here on your screen. Because you know how to respond when she says easy 5 things. You'll no longer wonder if she likes you. You'll know. You won't have to ask, analyze, or seek approval. You'll feel it in her voice, her words, her silence, and she'll will feel something. Just as powerful and redder. A man who sees her, hears her, and makes her feel safe to want more. So do this. If this video resonate with you, hit that like button. It helps more grounded stoic men find fizz massage. Subscribe to the channel. I fear, tired off surface level content. You're ready for real psychologic about women and attraction, and smash that bell icon beckos. Every week we drop content that cuts through the noise. Content that most men simplerant, ready to hear this is old stoic, where we don't chase, wet tracked with presence, where we don't beg, we lead, and where we don't settle for attention, we command respect. I'll see you in the